Happy half century to the Vancouver Canucks. It's their 50th season, don't you know? So that's why this video is going to be my top 5 favorite Vancouver Canucks jerseys. Yeah, are people super stoked to see what I have to say about the Canucks? All right. The Canucks have had many jerseys over the years, and a lot of them have been pretty snazzy. Some of them not so much. This is purely my opinion and not the opinion of Sportsnet, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with the hot takes and get in some trouble. Let's go with some of the jerseys that are not in the top 5 right now. Now, depending on how you look at the era, the navy blue themed jerseys are either associated with Marcus Naslund, he was a good player, or Mark Messier, who was a good player, but not in Vancouver. It's widely known and no one's bitter about it still. I actually thought those jerseys were fine. They weren't the best, but they were fine. Why then did they decide to randomly go with red? Not just red gradient. What is this? The Canucks have changed their color scheme many times and wildly over the years, and that's fine. If you're gonna do it, go the whole hog. Red gradient? This jersey is the early 2000s in a nutshell. It is not the Canucks' fault. It was just a different time. There were also the famous skate logo jerseys. Those are a point of contention. I thought those were snazzy as well, and we'll get to those later as well. But again, wild color change, but they went with it. Black, white, yellow. Again with the red! Not just red, diagonal red. What gradient was to the early 2000s, diagonal randomness was the late 90s. For a while, everyone seemed to have it. The Canucks obviously had it here, the Calgary Flames had it, and then they had that weird little half stripe. The Ducks had it, the Blues had it, and they had red too! You're called the Blues! It's like known the blue and red are enemies. They fight in video games and other things. We have a team called the St. Louis Blues. What should they be? Definitely blue, yellow, and red. Ah, yes, totally. And let's make Gretzky wear it. Why not? It's the 90s. A lot of people did it, and the Canucks did it too. Again, it was the times. It wasn't their fault, but this jersey, ugh. Enough of that nonsense. Now we get to the top 5 Canucks jerseys. Number 5, the yellow V. Yes, I know, it's a bit of a bold pick, but I'm gonna go with it. Now, I talked about a couple jerseys that were a sign of the times, the gradient, the diagonal stripes. Wacky jerseys were just a sign of the 80s. To me, if you go back and look at all the jerseys from around that time, the Canucks in particular had style. It was a big color change from the original white, blue, and green, but this was flashy, this was bold, this was deliciously the 80s. Who's the first player that comes to mind when you see this jersey? Harold Sneps? Come on, it's gotta, with the stash and everything. In an era of bold and brash, flashy design, this jersey fit in perfectly. It's gotta go in the top 5. Number 4. What I'm gonna call the Marcus Naslund era white jerseys, or the home jerseys, because that used to be a thing, remember? I remember. In 1997, the Vancouver Canucks introduced this little bad boy, the Orca Whale C. He's busting out of the thing, he's a whale on a mission. It was a bold change, but I actually really liked it. Now, producer Drew over here goes, they're the Canucks, why do they have a whale? They have orcas there, Drew, orcas. It's a little bit more creative than the Buffalo Sabres, a team named after a sword, just having a buffalo for a logo. You're not called the Buffaloes. Likewise, the Vancouver Canucks are called the Canucks, so what's their logo gonna be? Just a guy? Just a guy with a beard and a plaid shirt and a toque and oh, wait a sec. No, that would actually look kind of dope. Yeah, like the Simpsons guy. You know what? Drew turned me. Right, back to this jersey. It reminds me of Marcus Naslund, just a guy who ran the show for so long. He would don this jersey, he would snipe on you for periods 1, 2, and 3 until you begged for mercy. He even got on the cover of a video game with it. Again, it was a bit of a bold color change. Black was still hanging around in there, but like navy blue and dark red, not the flashiest colors. But to me, with the nice new logo and the white home jerseys, it was just clean. They lose me a little bit with the stripes, I'm not gonna lie. How many teams have 5 colors in their jerseys? Like, not even because they have a complicated logo, they just have all those stripes. I still like it, I still think it's clean, it's just not my favorite. Number 3. Nostalgia always gets bonus points, and maybe it's a little bit unfair, but I think the OG Canucks jerseys back in the day, the old hockey stick logo, are number 3. I'm gonna go ahead and say the home whites. Again, if I thought the Naslund era home jerseys were clean, this one is sparkling. Really simple, minimalist. You get the blue stripe, the green stripe, and then very simple logo in the middle, and that's maybe where it loses some marks. Yeah, it looks good. It's very simple for sure. The logo's a hockey stick. Now, in our research, we read that the reason there's just a simple hockey stick breaking out there is that it's supposed to form a C. Hey, that makes sense. Canucks. How many of you watching this learned that right now? Wow, yeah, it forms a C, except no, it does. C's are symmetrical. What are you talking about? Drew's laughing. I'm not buying it. I don't know. Like I said, it's cool for nostalgia purposes. The jersey itself is really nice. Any Canuck fan should be happy to wear it. Not my favorite. Number 2, we're all a little biased to what we grew up with, right? So the Canucks hockey skate logo, black. Love it. Now they had a few different versions of that, so I'm gonna say 92, 95. After the bright and brash 80s, the Vancouver Canucks, like everyone else, toned it down a little bit, because this logo had already been kicking around for a few years, but still with a lot of that bright yellow that we saw on the V jerseys. This logo is just fast and fierce, and I always thought it looked like fire when I was a kid, which would have been confusing because of the flames. I like it. It's simple, it's clean, but it's mean. And while being this mean-looking, intimidating jersey flying down the ice at you, it also had a cool patch on it. And that patch was in support of Canuck Place, a hospital that takes care of sick kids in British Columbia. It made them look like bad men with hearts of gold. Not to mention that they went all the way to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final with the thing. That would have looked so cool, have them hoist the cup with that. I'm sure you agree. A lot of people really don't like it. It's still kicking around as a third jersey, sort of alternate these days. I loved it when I was a kid. I love it now. That's my number 2. Number 1, this might be a hot take. I'm sorry. Number 1, the Canucks' current jerseys, the one that they're going with for the 2019-2020 season. Now, I don't have one on me. Producer Drew, you know how to video edit and all that stuff. It's basically this jersey, but without Vancouver on top of it. It's not that I think it looks bad, and it's nothing against Vancouver. It's just people know where the Vancouver Canucks play. Again, I'm a big fan of just keeping it simple. If you like the logo, make it the logo. Just stick it in there. Don't give it any assistance. Right there in the middle of the jersey. They stick with the blue and green color theme, which I think they should forever. It's like you experimented in college, but okay, we're done with all the fire skate and the V and everything else. We're blue, green, and white now. I just really like what the Canucks are doing for their 50th anniversary. And check out the third jersey too. See, that's a stick logo I could actually get behind. I like it. I think it looks more like a C. I like that they added more green. Not enough teams are bold enough to wear green these days. You notice that? Bring back the Whalers, am I right, Drew? Or the Seattle, what are they gonna be called? The Canucks' worst enemy is what they're gonna be called. I love everything about what the Canucks are doing for their 50th anniversary. The third jersey's cool. The home jersey's cool. The away jersey's cool. Everything about it is great. There's nostalgia, but it's also what's new. It's clean, which apparently is very important to me. I've said it no less than 1,000 times in this video. It is my favorite Canucks jersey by far. So, if you made it through this video, I know you're already screaming at me, leave a comment down below and leave your top 5 Canucks jerseys. It was tough for me because a lot of them are pretty similar. Like, for example, this one didn't make the list, but I obviously like it because all you had to do was remove a word, and I'm like, that's the best. The Canucks are a storied franchise with many interesting looks. I'm curious to know what you think. Maybe you like the V. Maybe you like the gradient red and are wrong. You're wrong. Let me know. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. The diagonal stripes are so 1997.